Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of November 12, 2025. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. The Russian armed forces maintained their offensive drive across all operational sectors, carrying out coordinated strikes against Ukrainian units and targeting manpower, equipment, and supply lines. Significant gains were achieved by troop groups north, west, south, center, east, and Dnipro, which strengthened their tactical positions, disrupted Ukrainian defenses, and inflicted notable losses. The center group led the day's heaviest fighting, pushing into western Krasnoarmysk and securing Sukhoi Yar. 9 counterattacks by the 32nd Mechanized and 425th Skala regiments were repelled. Ukrainian losses were estimated at 450 personnel and more than 30 armored vehicles destroyed. The 2nd and 5th Armies continued their offensives in the urban areas of Dnipro and Krasnoarmysk, increasing the pressure toward encircling Ukrainian forces.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Colonel Oguntoye, let's begin with the broad picture. How would you describe the overall operational tempo and the nature of Russian advances across the front this week?
The operational tempo remains high and coordinated across multiple sectors. What we're seeing now is the culmination of sustained multi-front pressure designed to exhaust Ukrainian reserves while advancing Russia's positional warfare objectives. Each sector, whether in Sumy, Kharkiv, or Donetsk, is operating within a larger operational concept of attrition, encirclement, and command disruption. The Russians are employing simultaneous pressure points, mechanized pushes in the north and center, coupled with precision artillery and EW suppression in the south and east. This integration reflects a shift from reactive defense to systematic offensive dominance. The intent is to fracture Ukrainian C2, command and control, isolate forward elements, and steadily erode mobility corridors.
Let's start in the north. Reports mention heavy fighting near Sumy and Kharkiv. What's the situation there?
In the north, the Russian North Group continues deliberate offensive actions, targeting AFU mechanized and territorial units around Alexeivka and Vidnavka in Sumy, and in Kharkiv's border settlements like Volchansk and Vysoko. These are crucial border logistics nodes. The Russians inflicted losses exceeding 100 personnel and destroyed multiple logistics warehouses. Operationally, this sector's purpose isn't territorial acquisition, it's disruption. By striking deep into Sumy's defensive rear and Kharkiv's reinforcement corridors, Moscow is forcing Ukraine to redistribute limited resources northward, relieving pressure elsewhere.
So would you say this is shaping activity rather than full-scale offensive?
Precisely. This is positional shaping, designed to fix Ukrainian brigades in place and prevent their redeployment to the more critical Donetsk and Zaporizhia fronts. It's an economy of force maneuver with strategic dividends.
What about the West Group? Reports indicate gains around Kupiansk and Sviatohirsk.
Correct. The West Group has improved its positions, notably along the Kupiansk-Sviatohirsk axis. Russian units have been eliminating encircled Ukrainian formations and degrading electronic warfare networks. The 6th Army's continued push has yielded measurable attrition, over 200 enemy personnel and 20 vehicles destroyed. Kupiansk remains a logistical prize. Its fall would sever the supply artery between Kharkiv and the central Donbass front. By repelling attacks from Ukraine's elite National Guard units, the Russians not only hold initiative but demonstrate growing resilience in counterattack absorption.
Turning southward, what progress has been reported in the Donetsk region?
The South Group has taken what we call advantageous defensive offensive lines, consolidating control around Seversky and Kramatorsk. They destroyed a tank and several armored vehicles, including American-made HMMWVs and the Ukrainian Kazakh. These tactical gains are small in geography but immense in operational leverage. They close the pincer arc around Kramatorsk, effectively restricting Ukrainian withdrawal routes. Moreover, this southern pressure complements the center group's heavy assaults in Donetsk, creating a two-pronged squeeze on Ukrainian defenders, a slow, methodical strangulation of maneuver space.
The center group seems to have carried out the heaviest fighting. What can you tell us?
Yes, this was the day's most intense theater. The center group has entered deep urban operations in Krasnoarmysk, a key Ukrainian fortress city. The 2nd and 5th Armies are advancing block by block through industrial zones, while the clearance of Sukhoi marks the completion of another tactical pocket. Ukrainian counterattacks by the 32nd Mechanized Brigade and 425th Skala Regiment were decisively repelled. Russian estimates report 450 Ukrainian casualties and over 30 armored platforms destroyed. The momentum here signifies a doctrinal transition from attrition to systematic encirclement.
Does this suggest a potential collapse of Ukraine's central defense line?
If sustained, yes. Krasnoarmysk is a gatekeeper to deeper Donetsk and Dnipro regions. Its loss would fracture Ukraine's lateral communication lines, a severe operational setback.
In the east, the report mentioned continued Russian advances. What's the significance there?
The East Group continues to penetrate Ukrainian defenses between Dnipropetrovsk and Zaporizhia. Their strikes have been precise, degrading 3 assault regiments and a territorial defense brigade, costing Ukraine around 250 men and 16 vehicles. These advances matter because they inch Russian artillery within effective range of Dnipro's western logistics basin, signaling preparation for deep strike interdiction, targeting fuel, repair, and rail infrastructure critical to Ukraine's sustainment.
And finally, Colonel, the Dnipro front. What's happening along the river corridor?
Along the Dnieper, the Dnipro Group has improved its tactical posture through precision engagements near Stepnogorsk and Nikolskoye. The destruction of Ukraine's 155mm Bogdana self-propelled artillery and multiple EW systems has diminished Kyiv's coastal defense capability. These strikes are not about massed assault, they're about isolation. By crippling radar and EW coverage, Russia is opening the door for expanded drone and air operations deeper into Kherson and Zaporizhia, setting conditions for a long-term operational pivot southward.
Before we close, what are the broader takeaways from this week's operations?
The trend line is unmistakable. Russia is transitioning from a phase of territorial contestation to systematic attrition and strangulation. Rather than seeking quick territorial capture, Moscow is dismantling Ukraine's operational ecosystem piece by piece, EW, logistics, and C2 infrastructure. The repeated destruction of electronic warfare systems and depots underscores a doctrinal focus on neutralizing Ukraine's ability to coordinate and sustain resistance. Each day of cumulative attrition erodes not only combat power but psychological resilience. Strategically, the implication is clear. As winter sets in, Russia aims to render the Ukrainian defense network inert, preparing for decisive breakthroughs in early 2026.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. I want to emphasize that the cumulative degradation of Ukrainian equipment, combined with infrastructure strikes, underscores a transition toward operational strangulation, reducing Ukraine's capacity for large-scale maneuver warfare. The destruction of EW assets suggests ongoing preparations for expanded deep battle operations into 2026, aimed at securing full regional control of the Donetsk and Kharkiv sectors.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive frontline updates from commanders in theater.